Welcome to ABC News GH live here on. Welcome to ABC in the morning live here on ABC News GH. It seems I am excited. Well, it's Tuesday. That's why I'm too excited. Let me calm down. But you're welcome to ABC in the morning. Thank you so much for joining us. We are grateful that you have tuned in to ABC in the morning. We can't thank you enough for spending your morning with us. We're streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook, ABC News GH. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, please kindly do so. If you have not liked our Facebook page yet, please like our pages. We'll be so glad to have you as part of our ABC family. You can also interact with us via our socials at ABC News GH _ at ABC News GH _ I am ABENA Mante. A pleasure to have you join me today, the 9th of December 2025. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, and I always say that Tuesdays are beautiful days, the best days in the week, the very best day in the weekend. So today will be a beautiful day. Yes, it will be. And as today will be a beautiful day, I'll remind you of what I always do every morning: to keep your head up. Really keep your head up, and don't relent in your pursuit of happiness. Do not look at the time and say that it's far gone and so I'm unable to catch up, or I'm unable to do anything worthwhile with my life. So far as there is life, there is hope. And so you continue to keep hope and faith alive and work hard towards your dreams and your goals, and you will achieve all of them. I wish you well. I root for you, and I pray for you that whatever you set your heart and your mind to, you achieve them. Don't give up. Don't relent at all. Do not relent in your pursuit of happiness. Happiness is within your reach. It is within your grasp. And so reach out and grab them. Okay, please do that. If you're on your way to work, have a great journey to work. I hope the working day is amazing for you, that you're able to achieve all of your goals, your targets for the day. Before the day closes, your heart will be full. We have so much for you today on ABC in the morning. On our front story, we'll take a look at the transport fare situation in the country. Yesterday on Community Watch, we brought you something left behind: the rising cost of transport fares when it is peak hours, early in the morning, and then when work closes, when there are so many people at the roadside waiting to catch public transport, churches to go home. And they spend so much money because since demand is high, the church mates and their drivers decide to charge the fares that they seem fit, not the fares that have been approved. And what option do you have? You need to pay. But beyond that, how they do not have vehicles, that is passengers, no vehicles to board. Have you stood at the roadside for 2 hours before? I have. I'm sure everybody has experienced that one way or the other. You just want a vehicle and you're not getting one, and you're frustrated, and you just want to get home and rest and sleep, and you spend so many hours that you could have spent resting in a queue. And it's all across the country, all across, especially in the capital. And it's frustrating because there are no cars, there are no buses, and you don't know what to do. But we know there was a time where there was the Metro Mass Transit, now there's Ayalulu. But have they really solved the problem? I don't think they've solved the problem, because a lot of people still rely on GPRTU, the buses from GPRTU, the trotros. Even if you are lucky to get a trotro and it's raining, you will be in a car, but you'll be beaten by the rain. Very, very interesting phenomenon, you know. But that's the stark reality of the Ghanaian, who has to use public transport every morning and every evening to ply their routes just to get to work and back. No vehicles. And so you want to get to work at 8 a.m. and as early as 4:30 a.m. you are already at the roadside. Because if you make a mistake and get to the roadside by 6 a.m., that's trouble for you. And I'm sure by now those who are still at the roadside at 7 a.m., are so pissed. I can really tell. Those are the roadside at 7 a.m. You must be so pissed because that you can see there's traffic on the road, but you can also see that the cars are not available. If you are in a station, the cars keep moving and it's not getting to your turn, and you are wondering, look at this traffic, when will they get there and return? Well, we'll have conversations on that on Front Story this morning. On our main discussion, we'll take a look at Pandai, the parliamentary seat in Pandai. The seat has now been declared vacant. Parliament has written to the Electoral Commission. We understand that within 90-day frame, elections will be run there. The Tamale High Court ordered a rerun of the parliamentary elections within the Pandai constituency. The MP, Matthew Nyindam, was unhappy about it. He wanted the order to be stayed. It was not stayed. He's taken the matter to the Supreme Court. We understand the matter would be looked at on 16th or 19th of this month. I'll get the 16th of this month. But at the moment, the seat is vacant. Parliament has written to EC. And so EC would have to conduct elections in there if nothing changes from the Supreme Court. Also, there's going to be some probing. The Interior Minister has ordered that a probe into some assassination claims by the Special Prosecutor. And so we'll take a look at that on our main discussion. We'll have conversations on that. And also, like we were discussing yesterday, we will discuss today too. 12 months since Ghanaians went to the polls and decided that John Dramani Mahama and the NDC will lead the nation for the next 4 years. How has it been for you? We'll assess Ghana since then. It's been 11 months since John Dramani Mahama and NDC were sworn into government. We'll be speaking with Alexander Kwesiakwa, the MP for Achimda, and Bernard Bediako, the MP for Akwetia, on our main discussion. We'll also bring you the latest in the world of sports. You don't want to miss out on that at all. We'll open the phone line so that you can call us and share your thoughts with us on Ghana Speaks, where you call us on 0539161609. 0539161609. We have all of these and more for you today on the show, and you don't want to miss out on that. I may be supported by the production and the technical crew. My producer, Samuel Nyumago, is on hand to be providing us with all of the information we need to know and connect us with everybody we need to speak with. We'll be looking forward to speaking with you today on ABC in the morning. We'll take a break. When we return, we begin with the front story. Don't go anywhere.
Oh, Kwame. You know our secret, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, me. I've got it.
Now add your Gino Jollof mix.
The perfect blend of tomatoes, pepper, and fine herbs and spices to ensure a consistent taste every time. And there you have it, your original Ghana Jollof.
Jollof so good.
Jollof so cool. Tasty, yeah.
What is going on here?
Enjoy Jollof the Ghana way. Gino Jollof is made with the perfect blend of tomatoes, pepper, and fine herbs and spices to ensure a consistent taste every time.
This advert is FDA approved.
welcome back to ABC in the Morning live on ABC News GH. It's time for our front story where we take a look at the transport situation in the country, especially in the capital. So many people have to rely on various means of transport in the mornings, in the evenings, at peak hours when they need to make it home or they need to make it to work. The unavailability of vehicles leave a lot of people stranded, and it's the stark reality for a lot of Ghanaians. From the students, the pupil, to the worker, you'd find people stranded at bus stops, at lorry stations, because there are no vehicles for them to board, spending as much as 3 hours just waiting for a vehicle. All of these are productive hours that are lost, or hours where you could have rested. And so many Ghanaians find them frustrated because of this issue. We'll have to have some conversations on this matter, but before we do have the conversation, let me take you to this report filed by my colleague Khadija Isifu on the reality of many Ghanaian commuters having to spend hours on end waiting for a vehicle to make it to work or home. I'll be back and we'll have some conversation on this.
Little bus is working. I mean, it's a huge bus. It can carry like most people. So by the time you close at 5 and you get here, it wouldn't be these gains.
The government's buses are able to come. At least it's going to reduce the number of people here for those who are yet to come to the station to broadcast.
It's very worrying. So we are pleading with the government to help us in this situation.
So we plead on the government to talk to the Ayalolo people to help us.
If the government can do that, it will help.
At sunrise, Accra awakens to a familiar struggle, a daily battle not for survival, but simply for a seat on a bus. For hundreds of workers, students, parents, and traders, the day begins not at their destination, but here on the roadside, waiting. Every morning across the capital, the story repeats itself. Crowded bus stops, long queues, and frustration etched on the faces of people who have been here far too many times. For some, the wait stretches from minutes to hours. They come early, they plan, they sacrifice sleep, yet the buses they depend on are too few, too full, or too unreliable.
The days I'm supposed to go work, I'm supposed to go very early. I will leave around 4 o'clock. But if I'm not careful and I wait up to 6 o'clock, it will take me more than maybe an hour by the roadside to be able to get a car. And sometimes we are congested, we be crowded at the place, and we all rush to get into the work. Sometimes we end up not getting car as soon as possible.
6 o'clock. Man, I feel when your car will be a juma. You can't need your brepa.
We used to wait for a long time. Let me say, sometimes not less than 2 hours. Oh yeah, sometimes we close from work as early as 4. We'll be here till 6 to 7:30 before we get car.
I've been waiting here more than 40 minutes now, and I'm going to Teshi.
Is the situation like this every day for a vehicle to come and pick you to the station?
It's an everyday situation. It's every day. Sometimes we can wait here more than 2 hours before we get car to where we are going. So it depends every day by this thing. Maybe you can come, you get easy. Someday you come, it's more than hours.
We're waiting for buses, let me say, buses to be sent to our various destinations at our various places at Teshi, Nungwa, Tema, Shaman, and Kubat. We will not be surprised standing here for about 2-3 hours before we get cars to help us to our various destinations.
And in the middle of this chaos lies a painful contradiction. The Ayalolo buses introduced in November 2016 to support the private transport system have been left to deteriorate. The public relations officer of the Ayalolo Bus Rapid Transit System, Justice Safo, however, rejects these claims, insisting that the situation is not as commuters describe.
There is this perception that most of our buses are packed, and it's quite baffling because we operate about 150 buses, and over 100 of them are currently on the corridors operating. So it's quite amazing when you see most of our buses are packed. Of course, next year will be 10 years since we've been in operation. We started in November 2016, so next year will be 10 years. So it's obvious, it's normal to find some broken down buses because it's almost 10 years. But to suggest that most of the buses are packed and people are not getting access to our buses is a bit difficult to comprehend. In fact, on our traditional corridor, which is the Amasaman-Pukwasi corridor, we currently have about 40 or more buses plying that corridor as I speak to you today. We have other main corridors, Dodowa, Adenta, Medina. We have close to 20 buses on that corridor. On the Ashama stretch, we have over 20 buses. On the Kasua stretch, we have over 20 plus buses. So we wonder why people, of course we cannot serve the whole of Accra. We have millions of people in the capital city, but we are doing our best to serve our people. So our buses are not packed. The buses we have available are on the road and they are working.
But for stranded commuters, the message feels simple. The solution is right there, yet out of reach. Many commuters carry stories they wish they could forget. Arriving late to work, losing pay, receiving warnings from their bosses, missing appointments, or simply feeling helpless as time slips away each day.
Because of me late. So because me name adwuma na me ye adwuma ni ye nti mama no ye worried nti me kwa ope
go to work very late, and though our bosses know that at the end of the day, because of car, you are not able to come to work, but that does not take the fact that you are late.
Obi wo ha ne boss be friend no boss me nya car this boss no ebinti ase say if you are supposed to say umbre juma 9 o'clock now about 10 o'clock and you be pon 10.
Yet they return the next day and the next because they have no choice. When a vehicle finally pulls up during rush hour, commuters describe the scramble as survival of the fittest.
And then you really have to fight for the car because the moment you try to relax, it means you'll be here till like 10. And after fighting, you can get home around 9 to 10. So if you are here at 10, You can do the math and see when you reach home, like 11 thereabout. Right.
It's very terrible and horrible. Because when, let's say, a bus comes and let's say there are about 100 people trying to make their way into the bus, let me outline some things that happen. People get hurt. People's things are stolen in the course of they rushing into entering the vehicle.
If you no fight, you no get. You have to fight to get your place, or you have to fight to get the car, because you can wait here before the car will reach there. Before you reach there, no, it full up. Then you have to be waiting more than before another car will come. So it's not easy. It's not easy.
It's a struggle. It's a struggle that you have to fight before you get inside the truck.
You see a lot of people running towards the car, and then you might get hurt, you might get cut, and some of the cars are not even good. So they might cut you, and then you have to go to the hospital for tetanus and stuff, which is very bad. Morning when I was coming to work, someone was robbed. Yeah, because the person was fighting for a car just to get to work.
It's too bad, very, very, very bad, to the extent that we sometimes lose our phones and other stuffs.
It's our survival of the fittest. Yeah, you have to rush for the car. Very difficult for class.
One might assume that with so many stranded people, ride-hailing drivers, Shaxi, Bolt, Uber, Yango would see booming business. But the reality is more complicated.
It doesn't impact our sales because the sales it depends. It depends. For the sales, it depends when it's rainy. It's only when it's rainy. That's when people will start ordering boats and other online apps. So that's the only thing that impacts our sales.
But when you see, let's say, rush hour, you see a lot of people stranded, standing on the road waiting for cars, that's trotro. Taking trotro to their places is less expensive. So you see most of them stranded at the roadside, and that makes it difficult for boat and bus drivers to get passengers.
During rush hours, prices surge. Private transport operators say these increases are often pushed by passengers themselves, who plead to be taken to their destinations at any cost.
Yana, me for no police no mo yana mo high, so I say because I want no parking be anyhow. But I would not see the plan at all. So I just say no parking be anyhow no. And I'm lemon just baby no parking in just a cage now. It's not my drivers for me a cars and they blame Pehoko. It's not sometimes they don't know when it was everything run apart. Sometimes you do an apart by a cosadia and you'll be anyhow inclusive and any normal for 6 cities.
With too few commercial buses serving hundreds of commuters, drivers say they understand the frustrations, but the overwhelming demand puts pressure on them. One bus conductor called for more Ayalolo buses to be released on the roads.
Moshana Ayalolo buses. I'm going to be good. When high because humanity we can't say Ejumane enye ba akofo ejuma so that say e nipa dom and inside benku dwale ni fa na benku ni fa so dwale benku sanity ntina ne wudi o ma won beka so that say esa ejuma fo na be because obu a baby okwa ejuma na kwa wa especially ka so afo duru circle a omu bosa edu anima omu jini pa go bia 25 cities 20 cities some don because I kwa.
When the day finally ends, the city rewinds into the same struggle. Now with tired bodies, restless crowds, and frayed patience, vulnerable students are caught in the middle, going home late only to wake up early for the same ordeal.
It's very stressful. My leg is always aching me, and I don't get enough time to learn when I go home.
Sometimes you come and reach at like 4 o'clock, Before we get car, it's almost 6. Before we reach home, almost 8, 7. And for us students like us, we need to learn when we get home, perform some house chores and all that. But because of the stress you go through here, by the time we reach home, you're already exhausted. Before we even think of performing our chores, then we are like, I don't even know how to put it. So for learning part, yeah, learning is out of it.
Yesterday I was here and then I left around 8, got home around 9. I was so tired and I had paper today. So I couldn't learn anything. This morning when I was coming to, I suffered before I get car this morning. So I got to school around 7. I was able to learn a little bit before our paper bam. Usually it's really hard to get car here.
To close at 3:40, but I got car around 8. And people, you going into the car to, people will be pushing you. Some you use their elbow to be pushing you on my chest. People were pushing me like this.
The morning, many will wait for hours. Some give up and walk home. Others squeeze into already overflowing vehicles. And the lucky few get free rides from generous private motorists. The state transport operator, Ayalolo, says it has heard the concerns. Its private relations officer assures that efforts are underway to reposition the buses, improve peak hour operations, and make the system more reliable.
You are saying it's become viable now. It's something we can look at. And so to our cherished customers and commuters, they should know they are the reason why we are here. We are concerned about their movement, and we will do everything possible to deliver a service that will be convenient, a service that will be reliable, and a service that will serve them. So we will also consider expanding our routes and going to the other areas that you are talking about, because for now it's obvious that we need to expand our services. So that's what management is currently looking at. With the new management headed by lawyer Awudu Dawudu, they are committed to expanding the service and making sure that our coverage areas is widened. Hopefully next year. This year is almost done, so hopefully in the first quarter of next year you will see a lot of expansion.
A promise of hope, but one that commuters say they have heard many times before. In a growing city, transport is more than movement. It is dignity, opportunity, and the simple right to get to work and return home without suffering. For thousands in Accra, the journey each day is more than a commute. It is a test of patience, a test of endurance, and a desperate hope for luck. So the system catches up with the people it serves. The battle for a seat will remain a daily struggle in the hearts of Ghana's capital.
That is the very sad reality of the Ghanaian commuter at rush hours. I was particularly hurt by the students' accounts. Getting home so late and not being able to learn for your exam is a reality that many students who are day students go through every day. Let's have some conversation. Emmanuel Oheneyeboa is the General Secretary for the Ghana Road Transport Council. Good morning, sir, and thank you for your time.
Good morning, madam. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I trust you're also doing well.
We can't complain.
There's a very worrying situation. Peak hours and the lack of vehicles, the very few vehicles that ply our routes. And so you spend so many hours. I believe you watched with us our report on this matter. As a Road Transport Council, how do you receive this?
Hello.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yes, I was asking that after watching with us our reports on the lack of vehicles, the inadequate transport vehicles at peak hours, the struggles that commuters go through. How does the Road Transport Council receive this?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to react to this issue. Quite frankly, as a council, we are equally disturbed about the turn of events on our road networks during peak hours. But the problem is that we have very little influence over that thing. What's caused that mainly is about the our road networks. You see, the road networks normally at peak hour, because of the nature of the road, the bad nature, or other things that goes on in terms of hawkers and all that has taken over some operational space. It reduces our turnaround time, which makes it difficult for drivers to move as fast as possible to, make their trips to clear the backlog. Notwithstanding, we try to do our best to, deal with the situation. But I think the buck stops with the state. If the state would try to improve on its infrastructure and see how best we can get people to work on it. And also the kind of vehicles that we use for commercial passenger services are not the best. You see, we have small occupancy vehicles. The maximum of this is around the 19-seater or the 15-seater buses, mini buses. But if we are blessed with some big buses, articulator buses or something, I mean that can move about, say, 200 people at a go, and that would kind of reduce the kind of pressure we find ourselves. So by and large, the buck stops with the government to try and deal with the issue.
Interactions. Have you had any engagements with governments to have governments understand the plight of the commuters, or hear from government what they seek to do to ease this burden on commuters? We understand Ayalolo is 10 years since it started operations, but Ayalolo is not everywhere within the country, and you do not see so many buses. The Ayalolo buses, as compared to the regular trotros, are not enough.
You see, there's one thing I would want to talk about, and people should not get me wrong, I'm not being political. You see, the Ayalolo bus as it stands now, we don't even know the true owners of Ayalolo. Who runs Ayalolo? Is the Minister of Transport or Minister of Local Government? Ayalolo operations is limited in scope because of this ambiguity around the ownership and operational structure. Now, Ayalolo, we have them in Accra, we have some in Kumasi, we have some in, I think, Takrady also. But the scope of operations is not well defined, so it makes it difficult for the Ayalolo setup to function well. Even that, you see, if government means well for the traveling public, I mean, it's about time you do a broader consultation with operators, the operators, front, to be able to have what we call a sustainable plan by way of financing to make sure that at least the unions or the operators have access to loans that can give them buses to be able to do the intercity operations. What I also say is that the Ayalolo and the Metro Mass especially, have lost its focus. Metro Mass originally was to do the metropolitan kind of service, but now Metro Mass has lost focus, and Metro Mass is now operating Accra, Bolaga, whatever. And that is not the focus of Metro Mass. So if we are going to get them refocused in their own ways, resetting, if they reset and do a proper, operational dissemination, then we'll probably get, a solution around this. Also, if you have metro buses, who see them at terminals loading to the villages, I mean, it's a loss of focus. So we should be able to look at it from a proper perspective that this is what we want to do and make sure we do it. Apart from the buses, we should also make a pragmatic effort to deal with the road networks. Because sometimes, if you look at, let me use these corridors, the Sound corridor, the Kasua corridor, and the Dodowa, whatever, area. Because of the construction going on simultaneously on all these roads, it reduces our turnaround time. So I think there should be a replanning around this road construction, so that they will be able to, create a space for them to be able to run at a faster pace. It's very difficult for people to turn around on time, and that is the cause.
So, okay, please go ahead.
And also, because if there was this issue of people exploiting the traveling public during the peak hours, we've heard all that, but because of a kind of politicization that has, taken over the kind of leadership we used to have, it makes it difficult to address some of these issues. Because
how difficult is it?
Pardon me?
How difficult is it to address issues like that? Because if I pay 7 cedis for a fare, for a certain distance, and at peak hours, the mates are charging 10 cedis or 12 cedis, what is really the hindrance to addressing this matter and addressing it completely?
The thing is, I've always spoken about getting a regulated terminals. For instance, Accra, if you look from Accra UTC to, say, Achimota, there's no regulated terminal apart from Achimota. And even the terminal at Achimota is hardly patronized. If you look at Achimota, when they introduced these new terminals, they collapsed the bus stop around the Achimota area so that everybody will go to the terminal. But it has now, as it stands now, people are still, operating at the terminals, the bus stops around it. So it makes the terminal there redundant. So if anybody can just come and load by the roadside and make his money without any kind of checks, who can you blame? And the vehicles too are not properly identified for you to know that this vehicle has a right to load here or not. So the onus lies on the assemblies to create these regulated terminals, and with the help of the unions, we can have our members registered and apportion operational spaces for them. Look, some of the terminals, you look at, there's a terminal around the Enya market area. It's virtually redundant. There's a terminal, Achimota terminal, it's redundant. All operations are now centered by the roadside, and nobody talks about it. And that also contributes to the traffic flow, reduction of the traffic flow. So
the last time we had a conversation with GPRTU on this matter, GPRTU tells us that it is not within their reach to deal with issues like this. It is the police, the Ghana Police Service, that should deal with matters like this. But you go to the bus stops or the roadside, take for instance Accra, around the Tudu area, where many of the churches going to La Paz, going to Nima, going to Ashoman, Dome Park, they charge very ridiculous prices. When you ask questions, the drivers and their mates tell you that the MTTD who are there charge them for loading there, and so the monies they pay to the MTTD is too much to bear alone, and so the passengers must also bear some of the cost.
Fantastic. That's what I'm saying. That if you look at our operational scope, what would have make our work easier has been neglected by the assemblies and whoever matter in these operational areas. Look, this circle issues that you are talking about, the people operating there, the vehicles, they belong to unions. So the unions that occupy this, that has taken the leadership, and think this should not be under their control. Then why is the unions, taking, let me say, taking responsibility, or maybe claiming that they have members who they have to control? Because if you have members and you can't control them and you leave them to do whatever they want, and when it gets to the evening, the station doesn't matter again, then what are we doing? What are we doing as a union? The GPI should be able to, up their game, because all we see on our roads, arguably GPI is one single one union which has, a bigger following than any individual unions. So if you are saying they cannot, there is beyond their reach, then it means they don't have control over their own members, which is not too good for our system. Okay, so I think they should be able to, own up and make sure that they are going to take steps to deal with the issues as they come. Why they say they don't have beyond their control? Then why do they have the members now?
It brings me to the question whether our unions, the various private transport unions, are just there for decoration's sake. Because for matters like this, if unions say that it really is not within their control, then who takes the responsibility? Because GPRT is also shifting the blame to the Ghana Police Service. That the Ghana Police Service should be dealing with the drivers on matters like this.
The truth is that, you see, the unions are there, but the assemblies owns the terminals. So
in this case, this is not a terminal. This is the roadside, and the drivers keep parking.
I'm building a point.
Okay.
The assemblies owns the terminals. So if you give the terminal to an operator, in this case, the GPIQ has a larger share of all the terminals across the country.
Okay.
So if they have the terminals where they operate, and in the evening they leave their members to come on the roadside, to come and operate on the roadside, then what are we doing? The assembly should be able to sanction somebody on that score. Because if they don't do it, and the terminal becomes redundant, then we have to get people who are ready to work at the terminals. And also the police also should make sure that they don't condone with such illegalities on the roadside. Because look, if you continue to do this, and that is why when it gets to peak hours, Christmas holidays and other things, those vehicles who either to operate in Choco or Doko and whatever these small areas without any experience on the highway decides to go to Kumasi and other places and going through their vehicles away. So I think it's about time we try to deal with this issue holistically. We shouldn't even talk about the passenger committed difficulty moving around during the peak hours alone. We should look at the safety aspect of it as well. Because when people just converge, bring the vehicle out, and just stand there and load without any checks and balances on the operational regulations and all that, it makes it difficult for anybody to even comply with the safety standards that are required for a vehicle to be on the road.
You bring in safety standards, and I want to dwell on it for just a little bit. We sit in vehicles, and the vehicles are literally dilapidated. They are falling apart, but they're on the roads. And the questions that many passengers ask is, how roadworthy is this vehicle for it to be on the road? Have the various authorities looked at it? Have their unions looked at it and sanctioned that these vehicles must go on the road? You sit in a car, it's raining, and you're literally drenched by the rain. You sit in a car and you can see the floor or the ground because the metals are rusted. In our report, one of the committers complained about tetanus, the fear of tetanus. You sit in a car, your dress will be torn, you have a cut and all. Are the cars, the trotros, are not roadworthy, but they are still on the road?
You see, I said this earlier on that it's about time government to draw up a policy or plan with the unions to try and help them to renew their vehicles. Look, since 2023, vehicle operations, transport fares has not been increased. We know that things have stabilized a bit now, but prices are not the same, used to be the same as in 2023. So if you have not increased your transport fare for about 2 years now, and you think you can break even and do proper maintenance of our vehicles on the road, you are joking. When we want to increase transport fares because of the public interest, the government also resists, which we don't have to do it. Let's wait for some time and do that. And somehow we don't have a choice but to oblige, because if we continue to run at the way we are running, it is very difficult for us to maintain the vehicles the way it should, because to start with, the prices of spare parts are not the same, but you are using a smaller money to chase a bigger, higher price spare parts. So it makes it difficult for people to do proper maintenance. That notwithstanding, a bit about the road.
But should the burden be on the commuter or the passenger to pay enough for the drivers to be able to maintain their cars? Should the burden be on us?
No, you see, the service we offer, that's where we make our maintenance and everything. We get money for maintenance and everything. So if I'm not getting the right payment for the service I offer for you, how do you expect me to be able to maintain this vehicle up to the standard? And I can also park the vehicle.
What is the right payment? Because at the end of the day, it looks like every time the burden falls on the commuter. Fuel price goes up, commuter has to pay for that. Mm-hmm. Prices, GPRT or other transport unions decide that they are going to increase prices, it falls on the commuter. And so the commuter on one hand is burdened by everything. At peak hours, the commuter, a journey that should cost 7 cedis, 8 cedis, you're paying 15 cedis to 20 cedis. And so when does the commuter also rest? When do they hear
I said earlier that the commuter interest is in the hands of the government. You see, as a business person, we always look at our profit and our operational cost to be able to balance our books. So if I'm investing so much into my operations and I'm unable to break even, I must find a way of getting the money. That is where the government comes in on the side of the commuter. Ideally, transport fare negotiations, the government party places that to make sure that the commuter is safeguarded, interest is safeguarded. But here we have a situation. I find a way of buying my vehicle at whatever cost, at whatever this thing that is done, and once I am able to do that, I get a burden on my head to be able to pay my loan without any government support or government government structure to kind of spread it over a longer period. That will reduce the tension on me. So whatever I do, if the government is not showing interest or trying to get a proper investment or maybe a proper funding for commercial operators, it makes it difficult for us to also raise money on our own and to get the highest notch of vehicles to operate for your comfort and all that, and yet take that little consequence.
What kind of funding are you expecting government to have for commercial operators? You are private operators.
Yes, but in other institutions have government support. We are not saying give us one for free, but you can guarantee a loan for us. Maybe have a loan guarantee from whatever institution, whatever company. Look, I have this thing for you. Take it. You this guarantee, pay it over a period of time. It means it gives our financial burden a little bit relaxed to be able to work over time and pay. So when I have to struggle, hustle from my own sweat, go and get exorbitant loans here and there to do vehicle purchase, there's always pressure on me to repay. So there's no way I'm going to be charitable to anybody who also offer the service to it.
In this case, it means that for commuters, we should be looking at governments bringing in more state vehicles like the Ayalolo and the Metro.
I've said that already. Yes, government should be able to bring in vehicles. If it's going to be state operated, fine. If you want to give out to private people to pay over time, to fine. But you cannot leave the vehicle transport operations only in the hands of the private individual. We cannot survive.
Some have made calls that vehicles transport for the regular Ghanaians should be handled solely by governments, so that we do not have trotros on our roads. We should have government vehicles like Lolus and the Metro Mass. That would ease the burden. We wouldn't be paying as much like we'd pay when we use trotros as people.
No, trotros cannot be entirely taken away from the operational area streets. What we can do is that there are little concepts that they introduced was something that if we had developed it well, it was going to solve some of these problems. The trotros, yes, you don't need to have the trotros on our main city center. Maybe the trotros can do as feeders, and their buses will connect to the main business districts. That would be fantastic. But until the government is able to flood the streets with buses, there's no way we'll be able to get things done the way we want, because the private person doesn't have the capacity to own that vehicle. Doesn't have the capacity to own that vehicle, and it's an issue that we need to deal with it. I think we can have a broader discussion with maybe other stakeholders and see how best we can go around this thing. But until we do that, I'm sorry the commuter will have to suffer the fate we are going through, because it's very difficult for anybody. As I sit here, it's very difficult for me to get on the road and start to control people. Look, don't do this or do that. And I'm only one person. Granted, we have even national officers, all the leadership of the trade unions. We cannot outnumber the people that are in operations. And Ghanaians naturally get corrupted by electoral influence. If I come and I'm charging over and I take some money, you just keep quiet. Recently, I think some soldiers took the law into their hands and molested some drivers, for trying to abuse the system. Well, I didn't agree with them to do that, but I don't think they were too far from right, because sometimes we need to push some sense in some of these people to be able to do what is right. And I think once the government also helps us to empower the leadership, because as for me, whatever I do it as a voluntary something. I don't have the law on my side to be able to sanction anybody as it were. So if I sanction from union 1, he can go to union 2. Well, nothing stops him from leaving my union. Nothing stops him joining another union. So the sanction regime is not really enforceable. So it's an issue the government will have to look at. Trying to bring more buses, disarticulated buses. I was in Senegal last year, and there's a policy. The Ayalolo concept is there, and it's functioning well. It's functioning well. So let's see how we can revisit the Ayalolo thing, and see how best we can introduce more vehicles into the system. Right. But unfortunately, our market center also has been flooded with traders. We don't even look at Opera Square. That used to be a very good center for vehicle turnaround area. Now it's been taken over by sweepers, these people, electrical dealers and other players. They do the whole place as for stores. So it makes operation in the city very difficult to manage. So anybody who decides to operate will have to operate from the roadside, because there's no demarcated area for such operations.
All right. Well, thank you for your time this morning, Mr. Ohene. But we look forward to speaking more on this matter. It is quite multifaceted. And indeed, we need a solution to it so that commuters can also feel comfortable. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, madam.
Emmanuel Oheneyebo is the General Secretary for the Ghana Road Transport Council. This is a matter that continues to bother commuters. Peak hours, no cars, and so you have to spend hours on end waiting for a vehicle. Oheneyebo also mentions the concerns of drivers. Note the turnaround time is very long because of our blocked roads, and you can actually agree with that. For Accra, the mayor came and decided to decongest our roads. There were some who said that this was not going to get anywhere, and indeed it seems their prophecy has come true. You go to the areas where the mayor decongested and people have gone back to the road. And so in the first few weeks after the decongestion and how it was easy to walk through, for drivers to also drive through and go and come, it's gone back to the usual, the old. And so the roads are choked again. Drivers will have to be in the traffic for so long. What time will they return and pick some more passengers? There are so many things that play a role. But at the end of the day, it is the passenger who suffers. At the end of the day, the passenger suffers. The passenger suffers by spending hours on end on the road, and also suffers again by spending so much money than they would normally have spent. Well, that's all for Front Story, but we are not done with this issue. We'll keep perusing it until we get some finality to this matter. We hope that the commuter can also rest. We have entered into the festive season, and going to town and returning home, well, let's see how it goes. That's all for Front Story this morning on ABC in the Morning. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll begin with our main discussion. Stay with us.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Winning, easy. You know what will be easy now? Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Aye, easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted granules. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Right back with the Pia Upa. Come on, come see you. Where Jessica? My friend, see before.
It's the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Win cash daily, weekly, and a grand prize of 1.2 million Ghana cedis. Just reload or buy a bundle with Telecel Cash to earn points and stand a chance to win big. Dial *500# or visit the Telecel Play app to opt-in and start winning in the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
When is campaign? If you're a baby, many schedule no. If you know, meto chiaka. Inti ene, uno ba no mpe baby amobeda. Oh no abeka. You did too much money. No matter.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Hey there and welcome to Streets We Day. On this episode, we are at Circle going to ask people a few questions about the new products of Gino. Stay tuned and follow me. Pacho, your pro say. Okay. Inti your first question, one say, we should Gino adverts na. Omo nyumbi ende no omo kan bibi wo ho omo kan dey
no ma Chris hi ananya no mabon
3 sentences 3 words wetin ya ka tell me Gino bibi wetin ya ka tell me
oh let's do you know
but you want to mean ka Gino
me too bad anyway na no refi kakla
wow. I love Gino. I can't miss this one. Is Gino pepper and onion?
Yes, that's correct. So here's your gift for it.
Wow, thank you.
A Gino.
Gino.
Tomatoes paste. And yeah, the onion, pepper wom, bibia wom. What the budget love for no Gino, we come back your love.
Gino.
Perfume rice. I perfume rice. Different ones, so
Aye. But we tomato paste near there. Gino.
as for that, the perfume rice. No papa ni
is working. I mean, it's a huge bus. It can carry like most people. So by the time you close at 5 and you get here, it wouldn't be these gains.
The government's buses are able to come. At least it's going to reduce the number of people here for those who are yet to come to the station to broadcast.
It's very worrying. So we are pleading with the government to help us in this situation.
So we'll plead on the government to talk to the Ayalolo people to help us.
If the government can do that, it will help.
At sunrise, Accra awakens to a familiar struggle, a daily battle not for survival, but simply for a seat on a bus. For hundreds of workers, students, parents, and traders, the day begins not at their destination, but here on the roadside, waiting. Every morning across the capital, the story repeats itself. Crowded bus stops, long queues, and frustration etched on the faces of people who have been here far too many times. For some, the wait stretches from minutes to hours. They come early, they plan, they sacrifice sleep. Yet the buses they depend on are too few, too full, or too unreliable.
The days I'm supposed to go work, I'm supposed to go very early. I will leave around 4 o'clock. But if I'm not careful and I wait up to 6 o'clock, it will take me more than maybe an hour by the roadside to be able to get a car. And sometimes we are congested, we be crowded at the place, and we all rush to get into the work. Sometimes we end up not getting car as soon as possible.
Edu anapa na wo ban so a wo begina kwa ho 6 o'clock a. Me 9 afi no wanya car wo be adwuma. Nti car ne de ye bre pa. We
used to wait for a long time. Let me say, sometimes not less than 2 hours. Oh yeah. Sometimes we close from work as early as 4. We'll be here till 6 to 7:30 before we get car.
I've been waiting here more than 40 minutes now, and I'm going to Teshi.
Is a situation like this every day for a vehicle to come and pick you to the station?
It's an everyday situation. It's every day. Sometimes we can wait here more than 2 hours before we get car to where we are going. So it depends every day by this thing. Maybe you can come, you get easy. Someday you come, it's more than hours.
They're waiting for buses, let me say, buses to be sent to our various destinations at our various places at Teshi, Nungwa, Tema, Shaman, and Kubat. We will not be surprised standing here for about 2-3 hours before we get cars to help us to our various destinations.
And in the middle of this chaos lies a painful contradiction. The Ayalolo buses introduced in November 2016 to support the private transport system have been left to deteriorate. The public relations officer of the Ayalolo Bus Rapid Transit System, Justice Safo, however, rejects these claims, insisting that the situation is not as commuters describe.
There is this perception that most of our buses are packed, and it's quite baffling because we operate about 150 buses, and over 100 of them are currently on the corridors operating. So it's quite amazing when you see most of our buses are packed. Of course, next year will be 10 years since we've been in operation. We started in November 2016, so next year will be 10 years. So it's obvious, it's normal to find some broken down buses because it's almost 10 years. But to suggest that most of the buses are packed and people are not getting access to our buses is a bit difficult to comprehend. In fact, on our traditional corridor, which is the Amasaman-Pukwasi corridor, we currently have about 40 or more buses plying that corridor as I speak to you today. We have other main corridors, Dodowa, Adenta, Medina. We have close to 20 buses on that corridor. On the Ashama stretch, we have over 20 buses. On the Kasua stretch, we have over 20 plus buses. So we wonder why people, of course we cannot serve the whole of Accra. We have millions of people in the capital city, but we are doing our best to serve our people. So our buses are not packed. The buses we have available are on the road and they are working.
But for stranded commuters, the message feels simple. The solution is right there, yet out of reach. Many commuters carry stories they wish they could forget. Arriving late to work, losing pay, receiving warnings from their bosses, missing appointments, or simply feeling helpless as time slips away each day.
Because of me late. So because me ni majuma na me ye adwuma ni ye mama no ye worried. Ti me kwa ope.
Go to work very late, and though our bosses know that at the end of the day, because of car, you are not able to come to work, but that does not take the fact that you are late.
Obi wo ha ne boss be friend no boss me nya car this but boss no ebi nti ase say if you are supposed to say umbre juma 9 o'clock now about 10 o'clock and you be pon 10.
Yet they return the next day and the next because they have no choice. When a vehicle finally pulls up during rush hour, commuters describe the scramble as survival of the fittest.
And then you really have to fight for the car because the moment you try to relax, it means you'll be here till like 10. And after fighting, you can get home around 9 to 10. So if you are here at 10, you can do the math and see when you reach home, like 11 thereabouts. Right.
It's very terrible and horrible. Because when, let's say, a bus comes and let's say there are about 100 people trying to make their way into the bus. One, let me outline some things that happen. People get hurt. People's things are stolen in the course of they rushing into entering the vehicle.
If you no fight, you no get. You have to fight to get your place, or you have to fight to get the car, because you can wait here before the car will reach there. Before you reach there, no, it full up. Then you have to be waiting more than before another car will come. So it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not.
It's a struggle. It's a struggle that you have to fight before you get inside the truck.
You see a lot of people running towards the car, and then you might get hurt, you might get cut, and some of the cars are not even good. So they might cut you, and then you have to go to the hospital for tetanus and stuff, which is very bad. Morning when I was coming to work, someone was robbed. Yeah, because the person was fighting for a car just to get to work.
It's too bad, very, very, very bad, to the extent that we sometimes lose our phones and other stuffs.
It's our survival of the fittest. Yeah, you have to ride for the car. Irrespective of your class,
One might assume that with so many stranded people, ride-hailing drivers, Shaxi, Bolt, Uber, Yango would see booming business. But the reality is more complicated.
It doesn't impact our sales because the sales there, it depends. It depends. For the sales, it depends when it's rainy. It's only when it's rainy. That's when people will start ordering boats and other online apps. So that's the only thing that impacts our sales.
But when you see, let's say, rush hour, you see a lot of people stranded, standing on the road waiting for cars. That's truck draw. Because truck draw, taking truck draw to their places is less expensive. So you see most of them stranded at the roadside, and that makes it difficult for boat and Uber drivers to get passengers.
During rush hours, prices surge. Private transport operators say these increases are often pushed by passengers themselves, who plead to be taken to their destinations at any cost.
Yana, before no police no more. Yana high, so I say because I want no parking be anyhow. But I would not see the plan at all. So I just say no parking be anyhow no. And I'm lemon just baby no parking just a catch my hotel. It's not my drivers for me a cars and they blame Pehoko. It's not sometimes they don't know when it was everything. Sometimes you do an by you could say yeah, and you'll be anyhow inclusive and any normal for 6 cities.
With too few commercial buses serving hundreds of commuters, drivers say they understand the frustrations, but the overwhelming demand puts pressure on them. One bus conductor called for more Ayalolo buses to be released on the roads.
Moshana Ayalolo buses. When we go because humanity we can't say any back of so that's in pardon and inside Benku in the sanity in any would you want Sabeka so I say I said you my phone a bit because you are baby or quite human especially Caswafo through Sekoa was a dream almost could be 25 cities 20 cities because I can't.
When the day finally ends, the city rewinds into the same struggle. Now with tired bodies, restless crowds, and frayed patience. Vulnerable students are caught in the middle, going home late only to wake up early for the same ordeal.
It's very stressful. My leg is always aching me, and I don't get enough time to learn when I go home.
Sometimes we come and reach at like 4 o'clock. Before we get car, it's almost 6. Before we reach home, almost 8, 7. And for us students like us, we need to learn when we get home, perform some house chores and all that. But because of the stress we go through here, by the time we reach home, we are already exhausted. Before we even think of performing our chores, then we are like, I don't even know how to put it. So for learning part, yeah, learning is out of it.
Yesterday I was here and then I left around 8, got home around 9. I was so tired and I had paper today. So I couldn't learn anything. This morning when I was coming to, I suffered before I get car this morning. So I got to school around 7. I was able to learn a little bit before our paper bam. Usually it's really hard to get car here.
To close at 3:40, but I got car around 8.
and people, you going into the car to, people will be pushing you. Some you use their elbow to be pushing you. On my chest, people were pushing me like this.
The morning, many will wait for hours. Some give up and walk home. Others squeeze into already overflowing vehicles. And the lucky few get free rides from generous private motorists. The state transport operator Ayalolo says it has heard the concerns. Its private relations officer assures that efforts are underway to reposition the buses, improve peak hour operations, and make the system more reliable.
You are saying it's become viable now. It's something we can look at. And so to our cherished customers and commuters, they should know they are the reason why we are here. We are concerned about their movement, and we will do everything possible to deliver a service that will be convenient, a service that will be reliable, and a service that will serve them. So we will also consider expanding our routes and going to the other areas that you are talking about, because for now it's obvious that we need to expand our services. So that's what management is currently looking at. With the new management headed by lawyer Awudu Dawudu, they are committed to expanding the service and making sure that our coverage areas is widened. Hopefully next year. This year is almost done, so hopefully in the first quarter of next year you will see a lot of expansion.
A promise of hope, but one that commuters say they have heard many times before. In a growing city, transport is more than movement. It is dignity, opportunity, and the simple right to get to work and return home without suffering. For thousands in Accra, the journey each day is more than a commute. It is a test of patience, a test of endurance, and a desperate hope for luck. So the system catches up with the people it serves. The battle for a seat will remain a daily struggle in the hearts of Ghana's capital.
Or indeed left behind, the lack of vehicles on our roads. We'll keep following the story. Like I told you, we need to bring some finality to the matter of the vehicle situation in the country, public transport situation in the country, and all of the things that accompany it. The shoving, the pushing, the stealing. Oh, so many. You have the young girl hitting her on her chest. It's really a very unfortunate reality for many people. But I'll head straight into our main discussion for today. Well, we'll be looking at some things that have come up. Pandai seat has been declared vacant. So we expect that very soon EC will release a schedule for when the rerun would happen. Well, let's start the conversation. Joining us is Honorable Alexander Kwesiakwa. He's the MP for Achimda. Good morning, sir, and thank you for your time. Honorable Kwesiakwa, good morning, and thank you for your time, sir.
Good morning.
Yes. We'll also be joined by Bernard Bedi Akumbedu, who is the MP for Akwetia. Honorable Kwesiakwa, since I have you, let me start with you. Your colleague, Matthew Nyendam's seat has finally been declared vacant. The clerk for Parliament has written to the EC. As a minority caucus, as an MP yourself being part of the minority, how do you receive this news?
Well, let me say good morning to you and your viewers and those of you in the studio. My apologies for not being able to join you in the studios. I have heard this declaration and the news just as you have. The caucus is yet to come up with a statement, but for me as an individual, I I will align myself with whatever position my caucus brings out.
Okay.
But the reality is that we have to be careful with the way we are handling our democracy, like the way I have said ever since this issue started. Gradually, we are losing track of our democratic credentials. Because for whatever is happening, everybody looks at it and thinks that, look, there are issues. There are issues. We do not have to treat our state institutions, our processes, with careless abandon. We have to be careful with the way we handle our democratic processes and respect for rule of law.
But this is a matter that Matthew Nyindam himself said that whatever decision is taken, especially by Speaker, he will stand by it. But he had expressed frustration about the process. A few weeks ago, we had a conversation with him where he said that for him, looking at the margin with which he defeated his opponent, it's even greater than what his opponent used to defeat him in 2020. And so that this matter will be escalated to this point. He feels that it is just a deliberate attempt to remove him.
Clearly, I mean, we have mentioned that ever since the court verdict came, the High Court judgment came out. But having gone through the judgment itself, it reinforces our point view, our viewpoint that, look, if what the court said is anything to go by, then we are treading on a very dangerous ground. Because I have stated that I sit here, no matter the margin that I use in getting into parliament over my opponent. If my opponent goes to court, if he had time, and he went to court and said that there were one or two anomalies, and so it has to be corrected, and then the whole election would be nullified, and then we ask to go back for another election. It is only using your strength over the minority, sort of stretching your muscles to show power, to let everybody know that you are in power. That's exactly what I see here.
This is a matter that we will be looking forward to seeing it play out, because we see that Matthew Nyindam is not backing down. He's taking the matter all the way to the apex court, the Supreme Court of the land, wanting the decision of the Tamale High Court to be overturned. In the interim, for yourself, and I speak to you as an individual, how much will your support be for your colleague in Parliament, seeing as he does not want to back down?
Well, that's why we operate in caucus, and the standing orders actually agrees to that. And so when it comes to Parliament, we have something we say, touch one, touch all. We are looking at a member of our caucus, not just an ordinary member, but somebody who had been a leader of the House before, went and came back, and his contributions to the House has been so phenomenal, has been so awesome. Everybody attests to the fact that he's one of the people, he's one of the pillars of our caucus. And so if we have the majority going all out to take that seat, he has our support. He has our total support. We are going to go the full length to ensure that justice is done.
To ensuring that justice is done. But for this Parliament, this 9th Parliament, what do you foresee a decision like this playing out? Assuming the rerun happens, and in any case, we expect that within 90 days it happens. The rerun happens, and Matthew Nyindam wins. In this case, if Matthew Nyindam wins, what does this mean for the minority? What does this mean for Parliament itself?
Well, in the first place, the elections that we're being asked to have is something we don't support. We thought that we could use all the processes of the court to bring a finality to the issue. But if we have to go to elections, the hypothetical case you are putting out now, and Matthew Nyindam wins, and that's exactly what is going to happen. We are a bit, we're a bit concerned about the amount of money that's going to be used in this election. We are a bit concerned about the kind of stress and the kind of acrimony that would surround these elections. We know what happened in Akwetia and all that. Why would we want to go through that? When it came to Akwetia, there was this issue of some by-elections. We should have a law that some by-elections should make it easier for people, the party that had a seat to replace and all that. But this is the fundamental election itself that had been challenged, So yes, if we have to go for the elections, it's so obvious that we will do, and Matthew Nyindam will win, And what it will tell the people and the whole Ghanaians is that, well, the NDC that believes in its goodwill and think that they can use that goodwill to go for seats that do not even belong to them, for the issues that we have experienced for the past 1 year as a country, their goodwill is dwindling. In fact, it has actually dwindled. I mean, today, if we go for elections, NDC is not going to be able to make it. Despite the social media people who are ranting on social media here and there, these are all paid up people. These are people who are really benefiting from the NDC, and so they have no choice than to go that route. But for people, real Ghanaians who are depending on the system to ensure that they butter their bread and all that, these are people who throw away NDC, and so it would definitely mean that the people still has confidence. The people still have confidence in NPP as a party, and Matthew Nyindam duly won the seat.
Well, there's a section of the public that believes that in any case, if this rerun occurred between Matthew Nyindam and Daniel Watao stands a bigger footing in winning, because the NDC is the party in power. Akwetia by-elections message was all about vote for the party that is in power, so that your representative will automatically also be in power and can give you the progress that you need. Seeing as Matthew Watao is just the immediate past MP for the area, if the NDC is going by a message like this, doesn't it rather give them a higher or a greater start than you in the NPP?
We know how much the people, the NDC representatives, the MPs in Parliament are suffering. They are suffering because they have higher expectations. Oh yeah, they are. They are. First timers MPs will tell you. That's how come they are always absent in the chamber. Because they think that, look, it's not all that rosy. They have to go and be begging for projects and to make sure they honor their promises they made to their people. Meanwhile, the center is not holding. I mean, things are not just gelling, So the MPs are not comfortable. I mean, their absence from the chamber a lot of times tells it all. And so now Ghanaians are coming to the terms. They are coming to terms with the fact that it is not just your government that is in power that will ensure that you are able to fulfill all your promises. If the economy is not good, how would the government go beyond its fixed situation to be able to let you feel comfortable with you and your constituents? And so that will not be a good campaign message. It will not. This time is not going to work. I mean, and people want to look at Akwetia with all the noise that was made. But what exceptional thing has gone on in Akwetia for people to believe that yes, we voted for the candidate, the government's candidate?
But isn't it early days? Isn't it early days yet to want to see any exceptional thing happen in Akwetia since Bernard Bediako?
Oh, for how many months has it been in Parliament? How many months? has Bernard been in Parliament, if you promise the people jobs, you should be able to get them the jobs. If he promised the people some infrastructure projects, he should be able to do it. There hasn't been any fundamental change in Akwatia. So these are signals that are going to be looked at, and the people of Pandai will definitely look at these things and they will not fall for any scam message.
But Honorable Akwesi, you say that even those in Parliament in the majority are struggling to get things done in their constituency, then how much more those of you in the minority? Let me just put you on the spot a little and say, if Bernard Bediakon or anybody in the majority is struggling, then what's happening in Achimota? Are you able to get development into Achimota as you had promised your people?
You see, I promised my people, and I was modest in whatever promise I give to my people, because I've been in government before. And when we were in government, at the time that we were 137, we didn't have too much of a majority to be saddled with the kind of issue NDC is in now.
Okay.
I mean, their numbers. The president himself said that he has too many MPs that he doesn't know what to do with them. You understand? And clearly, if you look at the dissatisfaction among the majority MPs, even in the sharing of portfolios, I had one MP who had taken a seat for the first time, a seat that belonged to us, and was complaining that the kind of board they gave him as a board chairman, he had never been to a meeting before. This is a very inactive board. But he felt that was going to be an additional support to him as an MP, so that he can sort out his constituents. And so in our case, we didn't have too many MPs to be in the kind of issues they are in now. Now, as an opposition MP, my people understand that I don't have access to some government largesse. And so I'm only dependent on my common fund and some little effort by myself. Sometimes we have to do out of pocket to take care of our people. So that everything you want to, I have made it a policy that I will never take common fund to give as funeral donations and church donations. I believe if I have to do a donation to a church, it has to come from my personal pocket, as well as the funeral donations. But we have members of the ruling party who do that. They will take receipts and go and claim it from their common fund and all that. So the dynamics of an MP taking care of a constituency varies from a person to the other. But I can say that the people who have joined Parliament, a lot of the first timers, I've been disappointed in the way things are, especially on the side of the majority.
Oh, so it's on that premise that you believe that the NDC would not be able to sell their message to the people of Pandai to switch from Matthew Nyindam to Daniel Wakpao?
Because we'll bring the realities. We'll bring the realities to them. We'll let them know that, look, they should check the chamber. How many first-timers are able to take part in proceedings throughout? They are just walking about, moving from one office to another, trying to make sure they find some resources to go and satisfy their promises. It's about finding favor with the ministers. Some are beginning to have issues with their ministers, who are their colleagues in Parliament, but the resources are not there. The resources are not just there.
Well, let me take you away from Pandai. We'll look forward to seeing when the elections are conducted, or when also the Supreme Court sits on this matter. We understand on the 16th of December, Supreme Court will be looking at the matter Matthew Nyindam and his lawyers have taken to them. Let's look at the Office of the Special Prosecutor. So many calls for the office to be scrapped. Not only for Kiseja Beng's removal, but to be scrapped. The Majority Chief Whip has lent his voice to this matter Even Speaker believes that the office is really not living up to expectations and so should be removed. As if that wasn't enough, the Director for Strategy, Research and Communications at the OSP, Samuel Dako, on Joy News over the weekend said that there had been 2 assassination attempts on Kissie Ejabeng. He said for him, he had been handcuffed and beaten by some 17 policemen. Very worrying revelations. Now, the Minister for the Interior says that there will be investigations into these matters. Really, all of the noise, all of the hullabaloo around this office of the Special Prosecutor, is it time for it to go?
Let's try and put a difference between the Special Prosecutor as a personality and the office of the Special Prosecutor. For an individual, we can look at it from a point that we cannot trust people who occupy positions forever. They may be good, they may be, the expectations of them may be very high, but when they have gotten to the positions, sometimes they may do certain things that will change who they are and all that. But it does not take away the relevance of the office of the Special Prosecutor. That we have not said, we haven't supported the call for the scrapping of that office. Okay. We know that the office was set up by our administration and it was done to fill in a vacuum that you hardly get the Attorney General or the state prosecutorial powers prosecuting public officials, especially politicians, ministers of state and all that. And so the idea is that let's create an office that will be very independent and can take up such a responsibility. We are one of the people who admit that the persons that have occupied these offices, that's Martin Amidu and Kissie Ejabeng, they haven't lived up to expectation. It does not take away the importance and the core function of the office. We can look at some of the disappointments in the people who have occupied the office and try to see if we can bring some form of seriousness. We can let them change the way they have operated and get a very serious system for them to operate with. But to say that we should scrap the office, it's something I would not support.
But the issue is, if 2 persons who have occupied the position of Special Prosecutor have not lived up to expectation as to expectations, as others have said, how long do we expect people to occupy the position before we can say that, okay, maybe we did not really, this office is not really doing what we wanted to do, and so it should go? How many chances do we give persons who occupy the position before we see what Ghanaians want to see? For Kissie Ejabeng, for instance, some say that it's been one press conference after the other, social media post after the other. We are not really seeing the substance of fighting the corruption, and so we don't need it. And so for those of you who think or believe that the office is also important, how long should we give the office before seeing some tangibility there?
The outspoken Kissie Ejabeng has given cause for us to believe in some of the things that have made it difficult for him to work effectively. He hasn't shunned away from some of his issues. I have also seen the video when he tried to praise this administration for providing him with all the expertise of all the support to let him operate. So it is a bit interesting that the call for the scrapping of the office is coming from this particular administration, and especially after one of their own lawyer Martin Kpebu was arrested and detained for just a few hours. It is just a matter of the fact that, yes, because it's our own, we will fight and scrap the office totally. We just even have to scrap the office for daring to detain one of our own, Martin Kpebu. But you see, again, if we are looking at a proper reset of our nation, and we are looking at organizations and outfits and programs that are meant to check corruption, the anti-graft agencies. We do not have to act according to our whims and caprices. The fact that one of our own has been arrested, then we think that we have a majority in parliament, and so we can introduce an amendment, or we can introduce a bill to scrap all this office, all important office, an office that has given Ghana some serious highlights, some serious accolades in the international community, that we have put in place a measure, an effort to check our own, even while we are in office. When you look at Mr. Martin Amidu, it was after he left office that he started talking about a lot of issues. And so it is very important that as a nation, we can put these two personalities together and look at the things that they have gone through, the things that have affected their performance, and try and see if we can do some adjustments. And if it is the prosecutor, the personality leading that office that is not fit for purpose, there are other individuals who would really want to give that office the meaning of the conscience of the state. You remember, that is how Mr. Kisiye described the office, that the OSP continues to remain the conscience of the state, of the nation. Maybe if he hasn't given true meaning to that, we may want to introduce some other personalities who will be ready to do that.
Okay. Well, finally, before I let you go, we understand you have a lot of things on your plate this morning. It's been 12 months since Ghanaians voted and decided that John Dramani Mahama and the NDC should lead the country, and some 11 months since the NDC and John Dramani Mahama took over the helms of affairs. How would you rate the performance of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama?
It's been disappointment.
It has.
It's been disappointment. Yes. You see, every government
creating issues.
Every government has 4 years, but you do not count the very last year that you are going to have a re-election. I mean, NDC has 4 years, but for 2028, which is an election year, you do not want to count those years as one of those that you can do anything. Yes, 1 year is so much a time that you can do something, but for the Ghanaian people, in 1 year, if you are not careful, they write you off, especially with the kind of trend that we are having now. The government has not been able to satisfy any of its promises. All that we have had is launching of programs whose concept papers have not even been presented to Parliament. Parliament is the House of Representatives. Parliament is a place where we look at all the government programs and actions, and we scrutinize them and give them money. We approve of resources for them to work with. Now, budget statement comes to Parliament as a statement, not as a motion. So for all the things that government puts in its budget, they have not been approved by the House of Representatives, those of us who are representing the average Ghanaian, the Ghanaian individuals. We haven't had the opportunity to approve them, but they have launched them. So we've been calling for them to bring us the concept paper of most of the things that they have talked about. And they haven't brought them. They have not brought them because when they bring them to Parliament, when they submit them to Parliament, it will give us the opportunity to now subject whatever promises they made to proper scrutiny. and they'll be found wanted. And so they have not been able to present those documentations. That is one. Two, the physical promises they made. The Formula 133, 1 job, 3 shifts, 3 persons. Now they are telling us that, well, that's a concept. It is not something that is practicable. 24-hour economy. It was something that was so hard to explain. They found it so difficult to explain. And currently, even in government, it is more difficult to explain. And Google Kitinkiti is being launched. We hear that they have given some deal checks to some people to wear. I mean, so NDC, Ghana doesn't belong to just NDC. So if you are able to give stuff to a few NDC people, do not think that you have satisfied NDC people. And then the almighty Galamsey. Now we have stated and we have said this, that Gold Board is the one influencing Galamsey in Ghana, because we are running a Galamsey economy, an economy that is totally dependent on Galamsey, an economy that is totally dependent on Gold Board. And it is the reason even government officials are engaged in Galamsey and nothing is happening. I mean, we have evidence of government officials being complicit in the against the fight of Galamsey. They are involved, but government is not taking any action because it has now become an accepted norm, you know, and all that. Look at the way free SHS is suffering. I mean, everyone. Yes.
Well, I know that if I leave you, you go a very long tangent, but we'll end the conversation here. Hopefully next week we can have you here and then we'll peruse it the more. Look at 1 year of government in power and what you would be expecting them to do the more.
It will be important. I'll make myself available.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for your time this morning. And,
thank you too.
And have a great day. Honorable Alexander Kwesiakwa is the MP for Achimda. We'll take a very short break. When we return, we'll continue our conversations. We'll have a one-on-one with the MP for Akwetia, Bernard Bediako Beidou. Stay with us.
To do my wade jollof.
Oh, Kwame. You know our secret, right?
Yeah. Efia.
Yes, me. I've got it.
Now add your Gino jollof mix.
The perfect blend of tomatoes, pepper, and fine herbs and spices to ensure a consistent taste every time. And there you have it, your original Ghana jollof.
Jollof so good.
Jollof so good. Tasty, yeah.
What is going on here?
Enjoy jollof the Ghana way. Gino jollof is made with the perfect blend of tomatoes, pepper, and fine herbs and spices to ensure a consistent taste every time.
This
advert is FDA approved.
Rent back with the beer open. Come on, come see you. Wait, Jessica. My friend, still before.
It's the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Win cash daily, weekly, and a grand prize of 1.2 million Ghana cedis. Just reload or buy a bundle with Telecel Cash to earn points and stand a chance to win big. Dial *500# or visit the Telecel Play app to opt in and start winning in the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
When is happening? If you're a baby, many schedule no. If you know, meto chiaka. Inti ene, uno ba no mpe baby amobeda. Oh, no abeka. You did too much money. No matter.
Telecel, connecting energies.
For staying with us. You're still watching ABC in the Morning live here on ABC News GH. I have with me the MP for Akwetia, Bernard Bediakumbedu. He joins us. Let's have some conversation with him. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, my dear.
This will be the first time we're speaking with you since you won the by-election in Akwetia.
That is
how are the people of Akwetia?
They are doing well. It is true. This is my first time being here too. And, it's a nice studio. You're doing well.
Thank you.
You are trying to be so up, even though I understand you've been around not long ago, but you are doing so well. I've watched your programs a few occasions, and I must commend you for doing a great job for the people of Ghana and beyond. The people of Akwetia extends their greetings. They are all watching. We went through by election, yes, a few months ago, and the people of Akwetia spoke through their thumb on every equivocally, and gave me the mandate to represent them in Parliament. I got sworn in sometime in October, so I'm barely 2 months
in Parliament. So how's the catching up been? I mean, your colleagues were already in there working. You have come to represent Akwetia now. How's the catching up been?
Oh, it's been good. I am that type of person that learns a lot.
Okay.
I don't rush into things, and so people who know me know how diligent I am. And so at this moment, we are understudying the workings in Parliament. Of course, it goes without saying, and the Speaker stressed it on the day I got sworn in, that it's a new environment. Yes, I'm a lawyer by profession, but I applied my trade in the courtroom. In Parliament, the situation is different.
Right.
And so you only have to learn what goes on there and try to imbibe the rules and then the workings of it. I got they added me to a committee. I got added to a committee, 2 committees. I belong to the House Committee and then the Committee on Lands and Natural Resources. So far I've been in I think 2 of their meetings. In all that, and even in the chamber, in the plenary, what I do is to sit, watch, study what is happening. I'm not out completely yet. I'm still studying, and it's been good. I've learned a lot.
That's great. Well, let me go back to before you ran for the primaries ahead of the by-election. Concerns were raised about your going against your client, that your client was in court with the late MP, rest his soul, God rest his soul. And then he died. There was going to be a by-election. The next thing we know, Bernard Bediaku's name is on the ballot for the for your primaries within your party. And so they raised questions that, is Bernard Bediaku a loyal person? Are you loyal?
Hey, thank you. I've answered this question for purposes of your viewers. I'm a very loyal person. People may not be privy to all the facts and the circumstances that led to me contesting. But I think that if people will be honest and be fair to me, they will not judge me by just that single act. They will judge from the very period they claim I was lawyer for my brother, Honorable Henry Adomboache. Because the question I keep asking is, if we had succeeded, if Ernest had not passed, and we fought the matter as we kept doing in court, and we won, would I have been the MP?
You wouldn't.
So, under no circumstance, in my candid opinion, can anyone stretch the argument to mean that whatever I was doing was for my selfish interest.
So the question is, why is it that when the seat became vacant?
Yes, I'll come to that. But
okay.
As I started, I said that people should take it back to analyze whether indeed what I was doing at the time, representing him, because you have to look at that. How did I come to represent him? I was a constituency secretary, and that is the part that is often not out. I didn't just, it's not as if I was contacted to come and then do a case for him, and then I used that popularity to maybe do whatever people claim I did. In fact, what happened was that I was the constituency secretary over the period.
Okay.
So as constituency secretary, I was the head of the campaign in Akwetia in 2024. I was the campaign coordinator by virtue of our structure and the dictates of our workings. Now, after the elections, I was the one leading. I saw it through, and so I had every information with regards to the anomalies we claimed happened in the election. So after the election, we met as a group, as a party, myself, my constituent chairman, and then the candidate, together with the national authorities. And they asked what happened in Akwetia. We briefed them. And then the leadership of the legal committee of NDC and the national officers instructed that we take the matter to court. In fact, I was also a member of the legal team.
Right.
So we then met, preparing to court, and then the leadership of the team said they see that I am capable, let me put it this way, of doing the case. So I should do it, and they guide me. So that's how it happened. I ended up being this lawyer. But you see, as I said, I was also the constituency secretary. So after we were done, if we had gone ahead and won the case, it would have been different. But you see, this was after his demise, unfortunate demise. It was a fresh election. Okay, MPP had gone for a fresh candidate, a new face completely. So we also had to do some gerrymandering. We needed to consider a lot of factors in winning the elections, because it was not the same old face of Eneskumi against Henry Yadomboache.
And you didn't think that Henry Yadomboache would have been formidable?
No, it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. It was for the party people. Like I said, it was a new face for the MPP. So as a party, we also thought, let's present a new face.
And you were the best face to be presented.
Well, the party decided. We went for primaries. I wasn't really enthused about it initially. Let me be honest with you. I thought that no, but a lot of calls came, a lot of, intelligence, and they thought that, hey, that's a new face. Let's also go for a new face. And we feel you are the right person to do that. That is not to take anything away from Honorable Henry Yadom, because he also won the elections in 2020.
Yes.
And he was the MP. So he's a formidable person. But you see, in life, there is always time. Do you understand? So maybe you may say that this was a time that called for.
Not called for it. Don't you think that it raises concerns about disaffection within the party? You may have won the election now, but there could be people who now harbor a certain sentiment of disaffection that feel that in this party you just need to position yourself in a certain regard, and the next opportunity that opens up, you swoop in and take the position. Because you were secretary, you became the lawyer for Henry Yadomboache. There were so many other people in your party, other executives who could have also been sent as fresh faces, but you were chosen.
So this is it. First and foremost, yes, disaffection is a possibility, but fortunately for us, it is not so.
Okay.
Because usually when things happen like this, what matters is your conduct. In my conduct, because see, you contested election, of course, naturally. What you are saying, people say so. That hey, you were the lawyer, you were the secretary, you were this. So you go in, you win the primaries. Surely there will be, and it is so with every election. We all have our flowing. So much depends on you, who won, and the way you conduct yourself. That would make people become so disaffected or maybe come along with you. And I must say, and I commend him, I can commend myself, maybe other people may, but I have had a very close working relationship. In fact, we've even had a certain relationship people do not know. Look, he's been very close with me for so many years. Even when he was contesting for chairman against the current chairman, I think 2018 or so. Was it 2018 or 20? Yes, around before the 20. No, that was 2014 when he contested. I was his campaign coordinator.
Okay.
We've had a very close working relationship since he lost the elections, but I was his campaign coordinator in everything. And so we have a close relationship. We had some discussions I may not be able to put out, but prior to this election, like I said, we had a lot of discussions. And he saw, as a sportsman, of course, he knew that it's an election. Let's go. The most important thing is to have a candidate we all rally behind and then try to make help to win the elections. So we actually went into the elections very united.
Okay.
Very, very united. He was always with me throughout.
All right.
Wherever we were. Beyond the elections, we talk. There's not everything I can say here, you understand, but we've had some engagements which are quite private. But I can say with all certainty that all is well. And that is what manifested in the elections.
Okay.
Not only him, let me also commend the one who came second, Honorable Erasmus K. Ali, popularly known as Asanka. I greeted them this morning. He also did quite well. He's a very nice gentleman, formidable gentleman out there. So they all, and I'm just immediately after the election, I even told my people, it's not after the primaries, it's not a win for anybody. Stop jubilating. Let's reach out to those who lost. And by dawn the following morning, I had even spoken to them on phone. I was in their houses. We spoke. And so if there will be some disaffection, most often or usually, it has to do with the conduct of the victor. If you win an election, you think you've won, so everybody can go to hell. That's where the problem. But election, surely there will surely be elections. Once you win, try to bring everybody on board.
Now there's an election that is brewing up in Pandai. A seat has been declared vacant. You were secretary of the NDC, and so I'll ask a question from the aspect of your party.
Yes.
You now have absolute majority in parliament, but you still are intent on that Pandai seat. What is the net for the party for which you can't let that seat go?
Thank you. So let me start before I answer your question. So you see the difference between the Pandai situation and that of Akwetia.
Right.
Because you see, with the Pandai, surely the party, I'm not sure, would go in for, and we will go in for, we won't even open primaries. We won't open nomination for primaries. We will go for the same candidate. And it is because it is the same election that has been declared null and void. So we are going back to rerun the elections.
Right. And
so that candidate is the candidate for NDC. And I'm sure the MPP would have Honorable Nindam. Do you understand? In Akwetia,
had it been so, it would have still been Honorable
my brother, Honorable Buache. Right. But this was a fresh election because nobody anticipated. That's why I would be shocked for anybody to, because I gave my all. He knows what I did in this case. And if I had won, or if we were done with the case and we won, he would have been the MP. Except somebody tells me that I anticipated that Honorable Kumi would pass. I never. So that's the difference. Now, you've asked a question. I think that question even came to Akwetia when people were saying that because of the unfortunate incident of the plane crash, and the MPP said they would not contest the Tamale Central elections, we should also forego Akwetia and then give it to you. It came up.
It did.
I think it's the same thing that has come up, that you have absolute majority. What do you need this for? And the answer I gave was this. Look, it is not even about the number in parliament. We are individual constituencies. And every constituency has its own peculiar problems, and which constituency prays that they get them solved. And they need a representation in parliament. Do you understand? So beyond the partisan numbers that NDC has this, MPP has this, the people in the constituency are looking forward to a representation that would help them in all they do, so that there is a government in power. Who wills? We run an executive presidency in Ghana. The president wills all powers. The president appoints everybody. The president is in charge of all development. Let's face it. And so the people of Pandai, knowing very well that President Mahama has 4 years, he is even yet to chop 1 year.
Yes, a month left for 1 year.
But we are not there yet. So much in a month.
Right.
Good. So they know that, look, we need to develop. We need a representation. There is no a general election where we are yet, or we are not so sure who will win the presidential elections. We have a president already. The court is the court. It is not the chief of Pandai, or it's not the assemblyman. The court says he's declared it null and void. It's an opportunity for them to right the wrong. In the meantime, I do not foresee even MPP people voting for Honorable Ninda. For what? What would they stand to gain? Let's face it. What do they stand to gain?
A former MP come back as their MP.
And then?
The development he has for them as a people.
Okay, do you really, in the space we find ourselves now, do you really foresee any serious development from the opposition?
So you think that because Daniel Watao belongs to a party that is in power, he should win because he can give development?
That is absolute. In fact, somebody may argue that shouldn't be the case. We can have the argument whether he should or he shouldn't, but there is a certain reality. At the moment, we don't have time to do those jurisprudence.
That is the message that you used in Akwetia, your party used.
No, but that is it. Look, and today I can assure you, and so I told you that that's the response I give, and it applies to Pandai. So that if I can walk straight to the minister for roads, and I talk to him as a colleague, as a caucus member, Honorable Minister, this is the situation. Between myself and then my brother who also contested, who would be listening to you? Well,
have you been listened to since you entered parliament?
Because whatever I asked for is still being done. Of course, we cannot solve the entire, because we've gone neglected for so many years. And if you ever came to Akwetia, you see.
Up until 2024, when we entered the elections, it was your party that was MP there. So you mean that because NDC was
you can understand so you now get the argument.
So Honorable Bachiarom couldn't do anything.
He suffered, and he knows it. He says it everywhere. He suffered. In fact, he said it. He's on record to have said that he never had a 10-minute meeting opportunity with even the DCE, not the president, the DCE, the local DCE. My dear, let's not kid ourselves. We know the politics that happen. We can talk about the ideal situation, that it shouldn't be this, the academic theories. It shouldn't be that, we should work together. But beyond that, there's a certain stark reality where you would have a DCE on the other side who surely would have an interest in the seat for his party the next election and would not help you succeed to make you, snatch the seat again in the next elections. And so, I would have thought that, or I think that even during Honorable Okoyo's or Henry Boache's time, the DCE was still close to even their candidate, the deceased Ernest Kumi, than even the MP himself. And so there were a few times you could hear Honorable, or we heard Honorable Kumi give out some promises, even as a candidate, and was taking people to, I heard, even as a candidate, was taking people, giving employment opportunities to people, 1 or 2, because his party is in power. And when they need to discuss what should be done and what shouldn't be done, he would be there. Our candidate, who was even the MP at the time, would not be there. They would have their caucus meetings, and they would often, grant him that opportunity, highlight him out there so that he is able to win the seat. That's the reality. So I'm saying that, Honorable Nyindam, yes, you may have the representation, but can you imagine? Look, even when they were 137, 137, where every MP was, excuse me, when I say important, it's not as if none is, but you know what I'm talking about. That if an MP was found somewhere and there was a crucial debate in the House, even if you are in Afghanistan, they can rent a private jet for you to come because of the numbers. Do you understand? At this moment, we have more than enough. They also have less than enough. Excuse me for saying that. But their numbers doesn't make any difference.
And so, if Nyindam wins, you're telling me that if he walked to the Minister for Roads, he walked to the Minister for Education, he walked to whatever duty there is in Parliament, or even walked to his DC, he would not be able to get...
I wouldn't say he would not, but I did a comparative analysis for you.
Which we get.
Thank you. So don't use he will not, because there are opposition MPs who are doing well. Do you get the point I'm making? But I'm saying that compared with the NDC, who knows? Maybe when he comes, he will even be given a ministerial appointment. Does any opposition MP stand a chance of ever being appointed a minister? But the Pandai NDC candidate stands, if he comes to Parliament now, who knows, the next reshuffle, he may be appointed a minister.
Then aren't we in a very big situation as a country if incumbency is the only thing that is going to give you development as a people?
No, you see, that's what I'm saying. We may have that argument. That's an academic one. Trust me, we may have that. And I will be happy to join you on that. So we provide solutions to this, and then students of politics would learn. But after we are done with it, I am a realist, and there is a certain reality. And I'm not sure that as you sit here, if you are from any community and you need water for them, you will call Honorable Afenyomaken. Will you do that?
No.
So that's the point I'm making. There are people who have been given the mandate to rule. I started by telling you that this is an executive presidency. Maybe one day, it's not the federal system. So we have one man who wields all powers. And as I told you, hopefully he may come, and then the next minute he's a minister of state.
I see you're telling us what the real situation is, not the ideal situation. But then in Parliament, declaring the seat vacant, writing to the EC chair, knowing that the MP, Honorable Nyindam, has taken this case to the Supreme Court, isn't Parliament in a haste?
No. So let me explain to you. Look, first and foremost, okay, at this point, I will speak as a lawyer.
All right.
The law is that when there is judgment against you, you may take some actions, which actions include the filing of an appeal, which starts with a notice of appeal, or you may file a judicial review application, which judicial review application usually is the certiorari. If you think that the decision is wrong in law, that the judge made a grave error in law with regards to you, so that one you seek a judicial review. And the High Court, judicial review applications against decisions of the High Court is often done in the Supreme Court, that of the lower court in the High Court. So this is a High Court decision. So I know that they filed a judicial review application because they think that the judgment was wrong in law. And I know what they are saying. It's connected to the Akwetiaten, and I'll tell you. So they are in court, in the Supreme Court. Now beyond that, they've also filed a notice of appeal. Usually as lawyers, when you file a notice of appeal and you don't want the decision to go against you, you file what is called the stay of execution, which they have. Now the law is that the Supreme Court has said it severally, that the fact that you file a stay of execution application does not mean that the execution is stayed necessarily, unless the court hears the application and grants it. So until the court hears the application and grants it, you cannot say that the execution should be stayed. But there is a law, I mean, in terms of judgment and its execution, which states that every judgment of a court is stayed automatically for 7 days. And that was the ruling of the Speaker.
The Speaker, yes.
So, and there is a reason for that. For instance, if we fight over this pen, when I say like in court, we litigate over this pen, and I win. The law presumes that, okay, I have a judgment against you, but the pen is with you. So let's give 7 days. Maybe you will do the needful without execution, where I would have to file processes to take it from you. So the court assumes that you know you've lost the case. So within the 7 days, you can, oh, this is the pen, take it. Then that's all. But if after the 7 days you don't do what is needful, then I'll file processes to execute the judgment. And so every judgment is stayed for 7 days. And that is why the Speaker obliged him until the 7 days. As we speak, we are not aware the court has even heard the application for stay of execution. The court has not. And even with that, usually, because the law is that the Court of Appeal rules says that application must first be filed in the court that give the decision. And if he refuses, or the court refuses and does not refuses to grant the application, then you go to the court, the appellate court, which is the Court of Appeal. Even the first stage has not been crossed. I am not sure the court has determined it. And so there is a judgment which has not been set aside by the court of law, competent court of law. You understand? And so that judgment is what is being executed. And so nothing, and his lawyers are aware, even with the Supreme Court certiorari application, the fact that it is filed does not mean anything. I understand. Their lawyer, Gary Nimakwa, I greeted him this morning. He told me that the case will be called on the 16th.
On the 16th, yes.
Let's hope that the Supreme Court deals with it. And then, but you know what their grounds is? Very interesting. You mind knowing?
Yeah.
Yes. See, they are saying that the court erred. You know what happened? The Nyindam NDC candidate filed the petition, I think, on a date that was...
Well, the argument is that the court does not have jurisdiction.
No, but you know why they are saying that?
Because it was filed outside of the...
That is not true. You know what happened? They filed together, and you see, this matter, they filed together with a supposed or purported Gazette notification, which Gazette notification, they submitted the same copy to the Supreme Court in the Akwetia case, and the Supreme Court found it to be invalid. That Gazette notification they seek to they filed in the Pandai court and told the court that they had my brother, the NDC guy, had filed the petition prematurely, because according to them it was not gazetted, the results was not gazetted before he filed the application. He filed it in the December, when they claimed that the gazette was on the 6th of January, which was not true. So they filed, they filed together with those documents. They filed an application to have the petition struck out, and the application had exhibits which included the supposed 6th January Gazette notification. That same Gazette notification was also filed in the Akwetia case. Now, when we went to the Supreme, because we had found the correct Gazette notification, which said that the Gazette notification was on the 24th of December. But you see, my brother there did not look at it. His lawyers could not. I mean, I'm sure the spell of the woman, they couldn't look at it well. And they believed that actually the Gazette notification was on the 6th of January. So they withdrew, they withdrew the petition.
Okay.
Because they seemed to agree that it was on the 6th. They didn't have any reason to doubt the document that was submitted to court. So they withdrew the application and then filed it subsequent to the 6th, which dates the Honorable Nyindam claims was the date for the Gazette. So they filed it later. Now the court has ruled you've now seen that your own document was frivolous, it was fake. Your own document, which you said is on the 6th, and because the Supreme Court had declared it null and void or as invalid, you now go to court and say, no, our document we brought was even wrong. And that the Gazette notification was actually on the 24th. So if you filed the petition the 24th December, so if they filed the petition more than 21 days after the 24th of December, then the court didn't have jurisdiction. Meanwhile, you had gone to court and told the court that the Gazette notification was on the 6th. And you see, this is exactly what happened to my brother Ernest. And you know, there is a crime, a serious crime as perjury. If you take a document, you depose to a document. When we say depose, these are terms of law. If you submit a document to court, and it turns out that the document is frivolous, is fraudulent, it's fake, you could be charged for perjury, and which is a 2nd-degree felony, and then also fraud. So for me, as we speak, if they push and they keep doing it, we will see. If they push along this line, Honorable Mindam stands the risk of being arraigned in court for perjury. That document, that 6th January Gazette notification you submitted to the Tamale High Court, what did you get it from? Because you now concede that the Supreme Court says it's invalid. So what did you get it from? To deceive the court, which made my brother withdraw the petition and filed it after 21 days after the 6th.
So you would advise Honorable Nindam to let it go?
I would, because you see, he has said, I wish, because if he's not careful, the Attorney General may come in. Because there is a clear case of crime here. But you see, if you believe yourself, and he has said it elsewhere, that he will still win the elections. If you've heard him. Yes. He said he's so confident. So leave it and go and campaign and win. Because if you look, either ways, you can't win this. In any case, I would not want to, I'm just stating the facts. I don't want to get into the matter substantively. But a judicial review in the form of certiorari is a discretionary relief. Okay. And the court will look at all the circumstances before they grant it. But I'm saying that should the court even agree with you and say that yes, the 2nd petition was filed out of time, the police and then the investigators as well as the Attorney General they are likely to successfully prosecute you. On the 6th January Gazette notification, you submitted to the Tamale High Court, which you now have admitted that is fake, and that the proper one is 24th, which is the basis for these processes you are filing. So why don't you leave it? Go and campaign, because we are there already. In fact, some of us will even be leaving soon.
To go and campaign?
We started.
You want Daniel Watpao in Parliament?
He is already in.
We spoke with your Deputy Director for IT in Elections, Madi Jibril. Madi believes that at this point is a 50-50 chance for either Daniel Watpao or Matthew Nyindam.
No, I mean, he would say that. He is Director of IT and Election. Yes, but we win.
You will win.
Oh.
You will. Well, finally, let me come to government 11 months. You say that you are not 1 year yet, and a lot can happen in one.
Am I the one saying it? Are we 1 year?
You are not 1 year, but you say a lot can happen in 1 month. Ghanaians decided that John Dramani Mahama and the NDC should lead the country. 11 months on, have you succeeded in winning the hearts of Ghanaians?
I'll say a few things before I even get into the matter. Have you noticed that all of a sudden, all the campaign promises are now being put on the table, that you've not done 24-hour economy, you've not done this, you've not done that.
Isn't it because you gave timelines to some of these promises?
So we gave timelines for the 24-hour economy. That when?
We understand that we're supposed to see a document on the 24-hour economy for Ghanaians to understand.
When you say, let me say something. You see, just like my brother, when I got in and he said a few things before that's what I heard. He spoke about a policy document. Free SHS. Did you see a policy document?
So should you continue?
No, you see, so they should not be the people talking. I would prefer you say it.
Okay.
You see, because these double standards, free SHS, we called for, in fact, they had senior members of their party, Dr. Adukufo was one of them, who said, no, you don't go about a very, very, huge policy, a very prominent policy this way. And that is why we are where we are. Have you ever seen any policy document on free SHS? So they should be the last to speak.
So when will we see a policy?
It's been worked on, and that is why, you see, for me, President Kufuor was given 8 years to rule this country. One district, one factory. Which municipality is this?
Ladma.
Where is your district factory? Where is it? Ask questions. When they speak, ask them. 8 years. 8. 1, 2, 3. We are not one yet. 8 years. Where's the one village wonder?
Now,
hold on. I just want to expose them. I'll come to you.
Okay.
Don't worry. We need to expose them for who they are. Planting for food and jobs. You saw a policy document on it. Planting for export. They changed with time. Did you ever see any policy document? So you see, they with respect, as for them, they should be quiet. Then we can hear some of you. Now you're asking for a policy document. Yes, you know the president appointed Honorable Gusitano. Right. He is working. He is engaged. Very soon you see it. Because we do not want to throw Ghana's money.
The president has only 4 years.
Don't worry.
Already 11
but we will not rush and waste Ghana's money as we have now. Just because a president said he dreamt, or he saw a vision, or he spoke to God, and God said he should build him a cathedral. How much money has been sunk into that thing? And you see only boards. What have you seen there? Almost $100 million. Do you know what that money can do? Go waste. Because there wasn't a plan. No feasibility studies. You just, because you said you spoke to God, God told you to go and build. You took our money, went to throw it away. President Mahama will not do that. Only, in fact, he would prefer.
But has he thrown that money? Did he throw that money away?
Tell me what they did with that money. No, tell me. You see, we are here. Tell me one thing they did with that money. Don't worry.
The money has been used judiciously.
My grandma will not understand you. Judiciously how?
Yes, he can. Sikana ayedi share cathedral anymore. Yes, I see ayedi.
No, it is a kasi fact. You see, that has been taken out of context. The AG was trying to do because he saying that. See, a kasi fasika. If the policy was said they should distribute money to the board members, it was given to them. So whatever was, sanctioned, said they should use the money for, it was used for that. But as to whether that thing was beneficial or not, it's another matter.
So that is the angle you are coming
And I'm coming from that angle, that we were told that we were going to establish a cathedral. Has the cathedral been established? Almost $100 million. My dear, in this country, you walk down there, you see kids begging, and you sink over $100 million in a hole as we speak, and nobody is
now. President,
so President Mahama, yes,
government is also.
So they should keep quiet. President Mahama is saying that before I take a Tesla or I sink any money into a policy, I have to be careful because, and so 24-hour economy. I know, I have seen it. I know for a fact that 24-hour economy markets are going to be constructed.
133.
Yes.
When do we get the one for the 3 people to get the opportunity to do that work?
It will be done. It's been. Look, for instance, I know that some work is being done at the passport office. I know DVLA same. I am aware that work is being done with the courts. It's been done. You see, you cannot wake up and the diligence. Please, let's bear with him. We cannot wake up and say 133 so that even where it is not feasible, we should just put put some money there. But when it's feasible, we'll do it. The ones you see, the courts is possible. I've always said this, and you remember that Professor Michael Kwe, even in government at the time, said that it is possible. We can have two judges. One will sit maybe in the morning at 6 or 7, do like 5 hours. Another will come. We will have more employees, more judges, and more lawyers.
So
and
we should give President Mahama time.
Please do.
If we are given time, how much time are we giving?
My dear, 24. That's for 20. You have time because we have to talk about that.
I don't have a lot of time.
Yes, no. That's for 24-hour economy. You are talking 11 months. What has happened? The first time we had a president who walked the talk to say that I will not do beyond 60 ministers.
Well, we've seen a lot of appointees.
No, appointees they've always been there. Nobody came, even beyond the 125 ministers President Akufo-Addo appointed, there were appointees.
So if the president was going to be prudent with his ministers,
yes,
why didn't he also trim down the appointees?
No, I mean, do you not have the numbers as compared to the previous one before you can make this argument? The numbers, the presidential staffers or whatever, compared with the previous one. You don't have that for now. So let's talk about the appointees. Do you know what goes into keeping a ministry? So please, this is something, you may not like President Mahama, but commend him so that... No.
Okay.
I'm speaking generally. So, sorry. I know you love him. You don't just like him, you love him. No, you see, I'm saying that what we should do, commend him. And as I speak to you, this, for me, it's a major achievement, because no government in this day would ever come and do beyond 60. The way no government, he set a standard and he says, I won't do it. Look at our numbers in parliament, 180. So we minister, but the president says, I am not eating back my words. Do you understand?
So that would be a merit for which
it is
clap for the president.
Absolutely, you agree with me. That's one. That was the first thing, because people thought that he would not be able to, live by his words. That's one. Secondly, did you ever think, or did you ever envisage that we can do well as we have it now without e-levy? You had the argument.
There's the new levy.
Which is what?
The D-levy.
Which is what? What is D-levy?
The 1 CD.
The one much is full now compared to whatever it is.
It's still a levy, isn't it?
Don't worry. There's always been levies. But I'm saying at the end of the day, the Ghanaian will look at how much he's buying the thing compared with the because we saw
what's the principle of the matter.
No,
you tell me I'll take one thing out and you bring another. Now
President Mahama never said that he will scrap all levies. But you see, it's a very smart way of raising revenue, so that we've seen that oil prices, prudent management, the dollar, everything. You've seen how stable the environment is now. So the stability is there. Now let me use the opportunity, because we all know, even in the last year of President Akufo-Addo, the way doing so was, and you heard what their former running mate said. He said we should provide our own timetable. We were faced with the problem. What is the situation on Doomso now? Be honest. Be honest. That is the best way a government, he raised the revenue from that end and he's used it to solve a problem. What did the cathedral money do? You've had all the scandals around. And again, I commend President Mahama and the appointees. It's never happened in our republic. Almost 1 year, as you see it, not a single scandal. Not a single scandal. And I commend the appointees of President Mahama for this. I pray that they keep it up.
Okay. Not a single scandal.
Tell me one. And you know what happened previously, the kind of things we had. Not a single one. Look, we are in a country where at the moment inflation, what is the percentage now? It's around 6 point something. Have we ever seen this? And yet, this is the first time in several years that the common fund, which is supposed to be the seed money for development in the very rural areas, is being sent. They are retaining 80%. So if you go to all the districts now, projects are ongoing. So it never happened before.
100%.
No, of course, President Mahama is so humble, and he will be the last person to even say he scored 100%. But you know, you don't need to score to get 100% to make an A. So President Mahama, I would not give. It is for Ghanaians too. But at the end of the day, we've all seen the trajectory. And that is why, for the first time, you've heard people talk about a third term, a possibility of a third term for
President Mahama doesn't want a third.
No, I'm saying that it is because of his conduct. It is because of his achievements, because of his governance. That people, did we hear any possibility, any argument, any debate about a possible third term for President Akufo-Addo?
The argument is that it is those of you behind that are pushing.
It is not.
Third term.
It is not.
So now it's become also the conversation in the public.
It is not. I'm sure you even have it at the back of your mind, but you are neutral. You can't say if it should go this way.
Honorable Daniel, we want President Mahama to go a third.
No, you see, it's a discussion people are having.
Are you for that discussion?
Are you for that yourself?
Are you for that discussion?
Are you for that yourself?
Are you for that discussion?
it is about Ghana. For me, I'm not sure any Ghanaian is so much interested in who is on the throne.
So are you for President Mahama going?
It is for the results. The law doesn't permit him now. That's what I said.
If there were a review,
the law doesn't permit. Let the review come. We will talk about it. For now, the law doesn't permit.
Honorable Bernard Bediako, thank you so much. We don't have so much time to have the conversation, but hopefully we can bring you back and then have some more on President Mahama's first year in government. But that's all for our discussion this morning. Honorable Bernard Bediako is the MP for the good people of Akwetia. We do also have some more conversations with him. After this break, we'll bring you the latest in the world of sports. But Honorable Ofori Hayford says that we Akwetia man is very grateful to you, my boss, and Hayford, your son from Genesis. Yes,
great regards to him.
All right, Hayford, your MP says regards to you. We'll take a break. When we return, it's time for the latest in the world of sports. Stay with us.
Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway.
This advert has been approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more.
Rent back with the Pia open. Come on, come see you. Wait, this guy. My friend, see before.
It's the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Win cash daily, weekly, and a grand prize of 1.2 million Ghana cedis. Just reload or buy a bundle with Telecel Cash to earn points and stand a chance to win big. Dial *500# or visit the Telecel Play app to opt in and start winning in the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
When is campaign? If you're a baby, many schedule no. If you know, meto chiaka. Inti ene, uno ba no mpe baby amobeda. Oh, na abeka. Ye did too much money. No matter.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Imagine a sport without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
On the show, we shall start by interrogating your athletes' health matters with expert insight from our renowned medical professionals, providing you with actionable advice and cutting-edge knowledge to prevent injuries and optimize performance. Then we'll connect you to the talking points where we'll bring you the big names, the famous faces, and leading voices on our radar in the world of sports for a lively conversation and diverse perspective.
Eugene Soti, your chief data guy on the talking points. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
On Ghana Focus, we shall spotlight our domestic leagues and heroes of other sporting disciplines.
I'm James Markion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World on ABC with Victor and the team as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World on ABC. Sports beyond borders.
Magic pepper and onion, a delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper and onion. No grinding, no blending. Ya yenyi na da da da. So pa mediane no aben.
Come on, Gino, do your magic.
And papa no kunu abefi.
Jen
tasty magic.
And your daddy trying to kiss again.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.
This advert is FDA approved.
It's time for the latest in the world of sports here on ABC in the morning. Thank you for still staying with us. James Ohinba Makion joins me. How are you? How was replay yesterday?
Replay was good. It was good. We reviewed all the activities that went on during the weekend, from Ghana Premier League, EPL to Serie A to La Liga. So it was interesting. It was very, very, very interesting.
You didn't mention Bundesliga, aren't they?
Yeah, it's been a while we did Bundesliga.
Why? You don't like the German?
Oh, we like it. We like it. But we know that at the end of the season, Bayern that is going to win it. So they've monopolized the league. But apart from that, there are some interesting stuff going on in the German Bundesliga. Okay. I think it was because of time. It's just an hour. So sometimes we spend so much on some of the things that we need to solve because of the time, so we can't move on.
I think when we enter into the AFCON proper, many of the replay conversations will be on AFCON.
On the AFCON, definitely.
Right now, have all the teams now released their squad list?
Yes, we just have less than 2 weeks to the competition, so all the countries have released their squad. The ones we brought were the very important ones, like Cameroon, Egypt, DR Congo, and the rest of the country, Nigeria. So yes, by now all the countries are preparing to go for the AFCON. Some of them too are on standby lists. For example, for South Africa, they didn't name their final squad. So when they meet for camping, I think next week, then they will take out some of the players. And also the final squad will qualify for the main one. So that's what is currently.
What do you have for us today?
We have a lot in the world of sports. Still, we are still talking about the World Cup draw, and a lot of people have been reacting to the draw so far. Yesterday, Mohamed Kudus also reacted to the draw for the World Cup, and he's saying that yes, they are going to meet England, and he's so happy that they are going to meet England. I think that bite is not ready, but we can still talk about that one. So for Kudus, he plays in the English Premier League.
Right.
So he plays for Tottenham Hotspur, and he did mention that for him he is very happy to meet England because he plays with most of the boys, and also we have other Ghanaian players like Semenyo playing for Bournemouth. Jordan Ayew has played in the English Premier League before. He's currently playing the Championship. Abdul Fattah Ishaoku is also in the.
So they are familiar.
They are familiar with the English players. They know how they go about things. So for him, he thinks that we are ready for England. He says for Ghana to qualify for the World Cup, it's a big statement. First of all, for us to be at the World Cup, it's a big statement. And then for us to
why is it a big statement? Is it because of our form now?
I know where you are going to. So no, for every country to qualify for the World Cup,
it's a big statement. It's not just about Ghana.
It's not just about Ghana. And again, I think there are a lot of storylines between Ghana and England. First of all, they are colonial masters. So that's kind of storyline is there. And we've only met them once when it comes to international games. Competitively, we've not met, but international friendly games, and they didn't beat us when they thought that they had already won. Asamoah equalized. So in any other competition, any other game, England have never beaten us, and we always say that this is the generation that we think that Ghana has the most talent. And for the English side too, this is the generation they think they can do something extraordinary for England. So it's two countries that have exceptional generation meeting at the World Cup. And again, that connection between some of the English players and also Ghanaians. So for example, if Nketiah decides to come and play for Ghana,
is Ghana ready to receive him? That's the question.
That's up to Tuado. He says they will pick it case by case. So if Nketiah decides to come and play for Ghana, just imagine somewhere around 80th minute, we introduce Nketiah into the fray. The game is goalless. Nketiah scores against England.
You want Nketiah to be in our squad?
For me, okay, so the conversation is that for Nketiah specifically, he was invited, he was being approached by the FA, by Otuado, but by then he says he wasn't ready to play for the Black Stars. He wanted to focus on his club career then
that was all he wanted to focus on.
Then some days later, we saw him play his first game for England. It was in a friendly game. It wasn't competitive. Then after that, he says he doesn't feel Ghanaian. He's lived in England all his life. So for those kind of players, that's why Ket says they'll treat it case by case. If you have rejected us before, don't ever think that you are coming. But that's from Ket Okreku. But from the coach, he says it will be case by case and look at whatever we'll go through. But for me, looking at our attacking players, we have Inaki Williams. He hasn't had a good spell with the Black Stars so far. We have Antoine Semenyo when he plays up front. And for our wingers, we have a lot of options. But for our main striker, Otuado is still looking for that one person. We have Brandon Thomas Asante. He's also an English-born player who has decided to play for the Black Stars. Antoine Semenyo, an English-born player, decided to play for the Black Stars. But we haven't gotten that one specific striker who will be leading our lines for us. So for me, I think that we should put emotions aside. If we have quality players who we think can up our game, beef up the squad going into the World Cup,
we should invite
why
them.
not? We should invite them, because there's this arguments going on that why not Uncle Bono and qualifying and one Uncle World Cup, but we have forgotten that about 53 players played in our World Cup qualifiers in all the 6 games that we played. Otuado invited about 53 players. Not all 53 players can go to the World Cup. So definitely some who played will not go. So that argument about who should qualify for who should come and play, first of all, it doesn't hold, because the likes of Richie Ofori, Baba Rama, all of them played at least one game.
Oh, we know where everything went wrong, isn't it?
But he says he's ready. He's working. So I don't know whether the videos are ready, but you can move on to our next stories. So let's have a listen to Mohammed Kudus on that part.
Well, their approach is their part of the game, but I think to qualify for the World Cup alone is a big statement from us and shows what we can do, So there's still a bit of time till that, so just focus here for now, and then definitely we'll prepare towards that as well. But it's good to have England in the group. Just
what are your thoughts on facing England next summer? I know we're talking about the Champions League today, but it's obviously a big draw for and a lot of interest over in England. What do you make of coming up against Thomas Tuchel's side?
Interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Playing against most of the players in the country here, and some of the other guys that play here as well. So we are pretty much aware of the side we are facing and the quality they have. But
so that's Mohammed.